Hi everyone, it's Kola. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to start off with my first blog here. I do have my 2-year-old at home with me, Simon, so he might pop in every now and then or make some random noise because that's what 2-year-olds do. I want to go ahead and start off my blog with the big question that usually people ask me is what got me started with my MMA. So about 7 or 8 years ago, I was in a really abusive relationship. It was really bad. I kept it pretty well hidden, and not a whole lot of people knew about it. I won't go into the specifics or the details of that relationship, just due to the fact that me and that person are actually friends now. So I'll leave it at that. But after that relationship, me and my parents had talked about self defense, and my dad was very had his mind made up basically that it should only be self defense. He said it's a good idea. You should go ahead and do it. I just had my oldest boy, Abraham, who is now almost 6 years old, and at the time he was 3 months old. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and try to shoot for self defense. And I had been driving out of town, out of Pendleton actually, and there was a little gym on the edge of town that I would drive past like almost on a daily basis. So I kind of just was cruising by and instantly just said, okay, let's stop, let's do this. So I walked in, talked to the coach, told him what my plans were and what I wanted to do. And he said, okay, well, class starts in about an hour. He kind of looked at me like, I don't think you're going to come back kind of thing. But I was like, okay, well, let me go change, let me get dressed, and I'll be back. So went back into the gym an hour later, kind of surprised him, but went through my very first class. It was probably the hardest workout I've ever had in my life. I've always been athletic, always been into sports and everything, basketball, football, volleyball, you name it, I was in it. But nothing quite caught my attention, I guess, or got me hooked quite like MMA did. So I immediately fell in love with the sport. It was such a hard workout, and it probably pushed me past some limits I never thought I was ever going to be able to conquer. And so there was that. That was instantly walked into that gym, got started. After that, I was probably training with that gym for about 3 months, and the coach kind of came up to me and was like, you know what, you should really consider fighting. I told him I didn't really want to go that route with it. I was really only wanting to do self-defense, and I kind of made a pact with my parents like, no, it's just going to be self-defense, and this is really all it's supposed to be. So I continued to do my training, and literally like 3 days later, he called me and he says, hey, I'm in Walla Walla. There's some fights going on. And there was a girl fight, but one of the opponents had backed out. So are you able to drive over here and maybe fill in for it? I was kind of skeptical, but being as impulsive as I am, I kind of just hopped right into it. I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's see what this is all about. So I told my parents that, okay, I did what I said I wasn't going to do, and I'm really sorry. My mom was instantly hyped. She's like, oh my gosh, go, do it. Like, get what you need to and go. My dad wasn't home, so he didn't have much of a say on what I was doing. So that was kind of a good thing, I guess. But I get all my stuff together. I pack my car. I drive 45 minutes to Walla Walla, and I show up. I'm nervous. I'm just didn't know what to do with myself, and I'm sitting there looking at my coach like, okay, so what do we do at this point? He tells me, okay, we're going to tape you up, we're going to tape your hands, you're going to get dressed, and we're pretty much going to get you warmed up, and you're going to go out there and bang, you're going to stand up with this chick. I didn't know anything about her. I didn't know like her record or her weight for that matter or anything. I just knew that she wanted to fight and she was ready to go. So said, all right, here we go. Walked into that cage. As soon as those doors closed, I was like, oh, this is happening. My heart was beating like 100 miles a second, and it was crazy. We go the first round, and it was literally a brawl. It was back and forth, and just I was swinging away. I really hadn't gained the type of technique to actually hit somebody because I had been focusing more on self-defense and just basically losing weight at the time. So I never really thought to hit somebody like I was. She was very technical. She hit me a lot. And after the first round ended, I hear the crowd, and it just instantly pumps me up, and I was so excited. I was like smiling and waving to the crowd because it was just like, oh my gosh, just feeding off of their energy, and they absolutely loved it. And who doesn't love a good girl fight? But we go into the second round, go into the third round, same thing. We made it all 3 rounds, and of course she won. She was a little bit more technical. She kind of got a little bit more hits on me and everything like that. But I didn't care. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This crowd, the feeling, the adrenaline, everything. I like instantly fell in love with it. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is what I want to do. Like, the crowd, the workout, the sense of accomplishment. Even though I had lost, I was like, I've done something that other people can't say that they've done. So it felt really amazing. And so after we get done with our fight, we go to the back room where they had all the fighters, kind of just either warming up or changing after their fights. And I go to talk with her. I was like, is this normal? Can I go talk to her? Can I like shake hands? Because I felt as though like just growing up with that type of respect for another person, even in just street fights, that sort of thing kind of came from my dad. But I wanted to go shake her hand and tell her thank you, considering there was a pretty big weight difference. I want to say there's probably like 40-pound weight difference, and she just wanted to be able to fight with somebody, so she didn't care about that. So I go in there and I talk to her. Turns out she's been training for about 4 or 5 years, and she's getting ready to make that jump into becoming a professional fighter. I was like, so you're telling me that you've been doing this for how long, and I've been training for maybe like 3 months? And she said, exactly, this is what you need to be doing. She's like, if you've been going for only 3 months and you stood with me the way that you did, you need to be fighting. She said, I felt like I was fighting with somebody that had been doing this for years. She's like, you have that heart, you have that drive, you have that push. And she's like, I could feel it. And you were having fun at the same time. It wasn't like this was like some huge fear you're trying to conquer. This is where you belong, and this is what you need to do. So huge shout out to Priscilla White. I'm not entirely sure if she's still fighting. I haven't heard from her for a really long time, but she was the one that kind of really pushed me right at the beginning, like, this is what you need to be doing. So it was about six months later, maybe, I think she turned professional. Haven't really heard much from her since, so I hope she's doing really good. But right after that fight, I had found out what I needed to be doing. I found out that this is what I needed to do. It didn't matter what background I came from. I came from an abusive relationship where I had somebody kind of putting me in my place on a daily basis for almost 8 months, mentally, physically abusing me, and I was beaten down and I felt like I was broken. But I found this sport and it instantly lifted me up and I felt amazing. I was in really good shape. I fell in love with the crowd, the adrenaline, my team at the time. It was just amazing. It was super awesome. So I hope this kind of motivates some people that are thinking about coming into the sport. It's just something you just gotta up and do. You can't really overthink it too much. Just find yourself a good gym with a good team with a good curriculum to kind of get you started. But that's my story on how I started. It was really random and it was never supposed to be this go this far. But like I said, just go with your gut instinct and just go for it.